Hey guys, Sal here with Detailist Growth. Today I'm sitting down with Aaron. Aaron, man, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Sal?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. It's been too long. It has been too
Yes.
long.
Yes. Been swamped over here.
Yes, we do have a third guest here with us joining us today, which is Quinn. Right down there, she's chewing on her collar. She's our 7-month-old puppy. So she'll be in the background. Hopefully, she's not too distracting. But yeah, we have an exciting topic today. Today, Aaron, we're going to walk through how you would go about starting your mobile detailing business and growing that if you were to do it today. Before we dive in, Aaron, could you give us a quick background on your journey, where you started, to where you're at today?
Yeah, for sure. So started as a mobile detailer, basically went in and bought $350 of supplies like most people do. Detailed cars, as much cars as we possibly could for that 350 bucks. And we saved up enough money to pay myself back. It was my business partner and I. And once we saved up enough money to buy exterior supplies, then we started doing exterior details. So now we were doing interior and exterior details for like 60 bucks, 75 bucks, 100 bucks, like 120. It was crazy. And then
That
we
is
just
great.
kept reinvesting. We didn't take a paycheck for 2 full years. We just kept putting money in, money in, money in, money until we could basically have this van and we had an entire setup and we were completely debt free and still to this day are debt free. So
Nice.
basically
One
just kept
thing
growing it.
One thing there that I think you forgot to mention is, when did you guys start that up? How old were you?
15. We were 15 years old.
15, high school, or just entering high school? That's insane. That is
Yes,
insane.
we were very young. A lot of people did not think that we were 15, but they also did not want a 15-year-old touching their high-end BMW. And
So
a lot of trust building.
nice. So it was convenient if the age question never came up at that point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. So, Aaron, that was your start. Tell me a little bit about where you're at today.
Gosh, today we've got 20 something employees. We're looking at doing 3 million this year and we're just the company is we're trying to get the company to run as much as possible without my business partner and I here.
Beautiful.
So we've got sales in place. We're getting marketing in place. All of our installers. I mean, we have a full time videographer. We've got a full time design team. We have obviously all of our installers, full office staff, managers in place. A whole tiered hierarchy in terms of management structure and proper leadership. So yeah, we've got two shops. They're right next door to each other. One shop is just for ceramic coatings, under coatings, prep, and icon rockler and ceramic coatings application. And then the next shop over is for window tinting, a little bit of vinyl wraps, and paint protection film. So we have like a clean room sort of thing. So we're bouncing
Okay.
back and forth between the two shops.
That is insane. And okay, so you started at 15. When did you move into the shop that you're in today? How old were you?
I was just turned 20.
20 years
No,
old.
just turned 19, maybe.
I think it was
No.
19. Yeah. Because I remember it was like, I saw it on Facebook. I remember that. And I was like, damn, you're 19? Which I think a
Yes,
lot of
yes,
people would
I
not
just
believe, by
turned
the way.
19. Yes, I just turned 19. Last year I turned 20, and this year was our second year here, and it was 21.
Nice, man. Nice. And where can people like find your business page, your Instagram page, just so they could see what the actual shop looks like?
Yeah, we have a lot of followers from around the world, from other shop owners. But yeah, you can get a hold of me, reach out, whatever the case may be, at A2D Luxury Detailing on any platforms. And then my Facebook is
Mm.
Aaron Latman. You can message me, text me. My cell number, I give my cell number out. You can text me.
Yes.
Just shoot me a call or
Yes.
text if you have any questions or ever need anything.
Yeah. Aaron, wait. Okay. We might not put that out publicly, but Aaron is one of the most accessible people that I know. In fact, he calls me more than I call him. He definitely has a higher pickup rate. So, anyway, just to go into today's topic, Aaron, I think a lot of that background is super important because it gives people an idea of, like, you started from the very beginning, right? From where a lot of guys get stuck, right? They stay in the mobile stage. Not that there's anything wrong with staying as a mobile detailer if that's the route you want to go, but a lot of guys get into detailing with the aspiration of one day eventually owning a big shop with employees.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, a lot of people that's like what they want is
Yes.
they want that big shop, that Instagram shop. Like, how can I have all
Yes.
these employees? And yeah, it's
Yeah.
not butterflies and rainbows. And the more employees
No.
is the more headaches, and more money, more headaches. Like, it's that statement's extremely true, but it's very rewarding being able to provide for all of the families that, of our team members. So that's the rewarding part. You have to have a purpose and a mission and a vision of where you're headed. You have to have
Yeah.
that, otherwise you're going to burn out.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, Aaron, it's been amazing to observe and be a part of that in a small way, but it's good to see, man. It's like we've definitely developed a friendship over the years that, I've seen a lot of those ups and downs. And yeah, man, I think let's give people insight to what that looks like from the very beginning. So,
Of course.
Aaron, like I mentioned in the beginning, how would you go about starting your detailing business? Let's go back to square one. You get $300 worth of supplies. What are you buying and how are you getting the word out there?
Yeah. So the first thing is, when, I always started with family cars and posting on Facebook. Social media is so powerful nowadays. So just putting a
Yes.
post or two or three out there is just so much more powerful than a lot of us think, right? But the first thing I'm buying is a vacuum cleaner and a mini extractor and some towels and some all purpose cleaner. That's pretty much some extractor soap and maybe some Windex you have laying around the house. Very,
Okay.
very basic. You don't need much. It's not rocket science to clean a car, and that's one of the biggest things. Is, a lot of people make it out to be like
Oh
the
yeah.
absolute hardest job, but it's not easy. But it's also not rocket science. Grab a vacuum. Grab,
Yeah.
you can even have a vacuum that has like a water capabilities on it if that's where you need to start. And most people have a drill, so that's really what you need to do. And we started off as YouTube detailers, which a lot of people do nowadays, right? You watch the YouTube videos, you watch all those guys detailing the insides
Yeah.
of cars and whatnot, and then you kind of like
So
learn from them.
yeah. So you found out about detailing on YouTube, and then from there, you're like, hey, this is something I want to really go into. When you first started, when you and Donovan first started, Aaron, was it something where you guys like dip your toe in the water just to see what it would be like? Or did you guys go all in, get the business cards printed, get the t shirts made? What did that look like?
Yeah, so we kind of dipped our toes in the water to start. The
Okay.
reason for that was, first off, we were 15 at the time. We couldn't even drive to our mobile appointments. My dad actually drove my business partner, Don, and I to our first um, three appointments. We had three appointments on the first day of detailing. It was crazy. But the biggest thing to note is, like, we definitely dipped our feet in the water because we were in high school. We didn't really know what to do. And I think that is completely fine. There is a big thing with business, and a lot of detailers are the same way. They don't even start. And that's the biggest
Yes.
mistake you can make, is that a detailer just doesn't even start.
Yes.
And so you don't need to have all of your ducks in a row. You don't need to have every single little, pet hair tool and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have any of that. Just start somewhere. You just got to start. And
Yeah.
that is like the biggest leap for a lot of people, where we didn't really have that. We wanted to try this detailing thing out. We didn't have much at stake, but just start it. If you don't like it or it doesn't work, then you can stop. But if you never start, then you never know. I love the saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, because if you don't
Yeah.
take the shot, you're always going to miss. So you might as well miss and miss by trying, right? That's the thing, is you just kind of got to go in head first. But another thing that makes my situation unique, that a lot of others find different, is that we didn't really have bills to pay when we first started.
Right.
And so there is a little bit of a different kind of story, because Don and I didn't take a paycheck for 2 full years, but I still think that it's extremely manageable, even with needing to take a paycheck.
Right. Yeah. And one thing that I think will be very apparent is the speed. I think going back to your first point, Aaron, about just diving into it, you don't have to dive in where you're investing a lot of money into the business, right? Because it hasn't been proven yet.
Right.
But you did start very quickly. I bet there was
Exactly.
probably like no hesitation between when you watched that first YouTube video to when you got those $300 worth of supplies, right? So I think there's a lot to be said there about the speed aspect of it and just keeping things super lean and just going out there and getting your first customers. So that's a great point there, Aaron. Next question. You said that you reached out or mainly did friends and family's cars. How did you expand your network outside of that? Once you guys had done all your relatives, friends, family members, How'd you guys expand
Yeah,
past that stage?
yeah, so the biggest thing is we got Google reviews from as many people's cars as we did, and we had a Google business profile, and we posted all the time on our Google business profile to get people that were on Google looking for detailing to call us. And we reached out to a local SEO company to see what they could do to help us, and they helped rank us in the Google Map Pack, which is the top 3 on Google. And then we put money behind Google ads, so we would spend like 5, 10, maybe $15 max every so often on Google ads. And we would just do them to a call. We wouldn't do them to a form or a like a landing page or anything of that nature. We just basically said, okay, I set them up myself. I want to target these locations. I want to target, these keywords: detailing, interior detailing, exterior washing, mobile detailing, all that, and put $15 behind it. And when they press the ad, call my cell. That's it. And people would just call. And it wasn't crazy. We weren't doing, $5,000 a month, but we were doing something,
Right. Yeah.
$300 here and there, $300 or 150, 10 jobs for 150 each. That's over $1,000. So just those small things is like, okay, that got us our start. That got us our momentum of
Yeah.
people constantly calling us, 1 or 2 calls at least a day.
So the first step going into SEO, I think that's a very I wouldn't want to say like obvious, but that's a very good first step. Aaron, how did you know, or what made you realize that investing into advertising was the thing to really grow your business? Because what I hear is the SEO part, it's organic. It takes time to ramp up, but a lot of people will do it, right? A lot of these, however, small businesses will do it. But I noticed that there's a lot of hesitation from doing SEO, getting a website made, right? They're willing to invest into that. But when it comes to advertising, that part's scary. There might be a long delay there. So what made you jump from SEO to advertising afterwards?
Yeah, so SEO is not always the best first move. To be honest, it's not the best first move. What we wanted to do is get into the local map pack rankings so that when someone searched us on Google, we would pop up first. That is like a Google My Business rankings as opposed to like an SEO tactic for like a website. We
Yeah.
didn't do any SEO with like a search engine optimization company until we had our really good WordPress website because we started off with Squarespace, excuse me, quick, cheap, just get something
Yeah.
up, and put a lot of time and energy into that website. And that was like hours and hours of sleepless nights. That was crazy. But when it comes to advertising, digital ads, paid advertising, okay, the biggest thing in the entire world to know about that is that you're going to get a return a lot faster than any other type of marketing. You're going to get a return as quick as possible, even sometimes one day, right? So you have some
Yeah.
clients, they start advertising with you and they already get sales in the first 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah. And one thing I want to put out there, just while it's on topic, between, Google ads, SEO, you're right. SEO, Google ads, they do take a while to ramp up. I think they're absolutely necessary if you can afford to do Google ads and social media ads like Facebook and Instagram. The thing with Google ads and SEO is it's heavily reliant on somebody searching for what you're advertising. Now, the search volume for detailing is healthy, but when you look at the search volume for coatings and PPF and those higher ticket jobs, it's like non-existent. Even in some of the most populated cities in the US here.
That's
So,
exactly right.
yeah. So, Aaron, you started advertising, you got those calls, and then walk me through how you and Donovan managed to make that more reliable, make the advertising, make the flow of customers more reliable to where you guys have a full calendar.
Yeah, I mean, when we knew that the ads were sort of working, we just put more money into it. There's a few things in business, and the number one thing is when something's going right and you're trying to grow something, you're trying to build something in business. I, as a business owner, never looked at the data behind it. And it's pretty crazy to say, right? But like, I never looked at the data on the ads. I never looked at cost per lead. I never looked at the amount I was spending. I never looked at like my cost per conversion or how many, what's my ROAS, or
Yeah.
there's so many different metrics that you can track with. We didn't look at any of that. All we wanted to know was the money that we were putting into the ads making us more money than what we were putting in. And if the answer is yes, then we're fine.
You put more money into it.
Put more money in. And if that money is making more money than what we're putting into the ads, guess what? Put more
More
money in.
money.
More money.
Okay, so that like thinking is not
Is
typical.
very is very atypical. Yeah.
It is not typical at all. But
But how do you
yeah,
expect to get a client? How do you expect to get a client at a 2% of your revenue in
yeah,
the first year of detailing? It's just impossible. At one point, we were spending 40 to 50% on marketing alone. No one knows who the heck we are. No one knows our name. No one knows our brand. If I tell
yeah,
you McDonald's, you know that like everybody in the
yeah,
U.S. pretty much knows what a McDonald's is. I guarantee you, everybody watching has never heard of Attention to Detail in Highland, Indiana before. Like, I have never heard of any of the other people's companies. Like, I don't know all of the HVAC companies around here. I don't know all the plumbing, the heating,
yeah,
the electrical companies around here. I don't know all of the names of the printing companies around here. Like, you just don't. So marketing is just so powerful, but you can't just say, well, I need to make 2%. I need to have my marketing be, I need to spend $2 for every $100. There's no way that's even possible. It takes us right now about $250 to $300 to acquire one client to step foot in the shop. That's not even to buy a product. That's just to step foot in the shop. Is that
yeah.
not crazy?
That is crazy, but the return on that's pretty nice.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, so Aaron, you started advertising, you got those results, you basically just reinvested in heavily into advertising. Your thinking was it's working, just keep putting more money into it.
That's exactly right.
So let's just look at that first year where you started consistently advertising. Was it something where you only advertised in the peak season, or was it something where you advertised year round? What was your philosophy around that initial first year of advertising?
Yeah, so we were advertising like the first year was basically like so we were in school, right? We were in high school. So it was only on we would start the ads at like 4 p.m. and then we would stop the ads like at like 10 p.m. and then we'd start them back up like
Right out of
at 4
after
p.m.
school.
after school because I was getting calls and one or two calls. Like, you can't answer a call in the middle of class, like just from Google ads, especially if there's two or three calls coming in an hour sometimes. So we would basically just start and stop them constantly. Horrible for the algorithm, probably, but we
Yes.
basically had we basically had this like we just basically had this like schedule, like this ad schedule, run them from this time to this time every day. Saturdays and Sundays they were up all day. It was like the greatest.
Dude, Aaron, just as a side note, when you said that, that reminded me of one of our first phone calls. You had to like step out of class, and I think it was like our first like call where we were kind of getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And I do remember that. You're like, oh, I got to step out of class because I got to take this call with Sal. And I was like, wait, you're still in high school? What?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
that was
Uh,
pretty crazy.
yeah, that was funny. So, okay. So you started advertising, you got a consistent flow of customers. What was the next step after that, Aaron? After you got that consistent flow, you guys knew what a couple weeks looked like for your schedule. What was your thinking at that stage to expand even more?
Yeah, so we knew that we wanted to get into ceramic coatings. We just didn't know kind of where to start. So we were still doing detailing. That was all fine. We wanted to sign on with a ceramic coating company. And I don't know, I'm not like a veteran in the industry by any means, right? But like back then, 5 years ago, 4 years ago now, 4 years ago, it was like there were very few ceramic coating companies out. If you
Yeah.
wanted to get a ceramic coating, you had to get this whole training done. And a lot of people wanted to fly out to them, and we couldn't afford that. There's this one company, Us Boss, out of Canada, that had a ceramic coating, and they accredited us. We were applying our first ceramic coating on my 2008 Acura MDX, and they did it via Zoom call for us. It was like a $600
Nice.
buy-in,
Nice.
and yeah, we did a $600 buy-in, and we got the product to do one car, and yeah, that I will forever thank them for our start. But we after my Acura, we never used that product again. So so
That was your introduction to coatings. So that was like, okay, I know how to apply this product. I'm assuming they taught you the paint correction process as well.
correct, they
Um,
helped us with a lot of paint correction.
Walk me through getting your first ceramic coating customer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, my first ceramic coating client name was Matt. Matt is a survivor of alcoholism and drugs, and I got to learn his story when he first met me. This was in our my business partner's dad's auto repair shop. So every Friday night when the auto repair shop closed, we would pull all their cars outside. Then we would pull all of our clients' cars in, work Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. We'd barely sleep. Saturday, we'd get home at like 12 or 1 a.m. wake up at 6 a.m., go right back to the shop. Sunday night, all the clients would pick up. We pull all the other cars back in. And then we went to school Monday through Friday. Our first ceramic coating client was actually found through guerrilla marketing, believe it or not. So
Really?
there was a buddy of mine on Facebook, and he was getting all these ceramic coating jobs in his garage. And I saw him in the detailing groups, and I'm like, dude, I want some help. Like, how are you getting all these? He's like, bro, just start texting people. Just start texting them. I'm like, okay. Like when you're in marketing and sales, like you have to do whatever it takes, right? Like there's no stopping. So I actually went onto the car enthusiasts page on Facebook, and on the most recent posts of cool cars, I would go into all the comments of people that liked them, go to their profile, add them as a friend, message them and say, hey,
Love it.
running this special right now. We've got our new ceramic coating product, blah, 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 blah. I went through maybe like 50 people, and then Matt pops up. He's like, hey, I totally love to do that, blah, 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 blah. So he bought his Pontiac Solstice
Okay.
for $4,000. We ceramic coated it, and he sold it for, I think he put miles on it, and 3 years later he sold it for $10,000.
Jeez, man. Okay.
And that was like the craziest thing. That was our first ceramic coating job ever. And after that ceramic coating job, we took tons of before photos, tons of afters, tons of durings. I can now use those photos to sell more jobs. And then that is when we would say, well, I know your car's, we're getting a detail on it, so on and so forth. But what about paint correction, ceramic? Like, what about this, that, and the other? Then it kind of took off from there.
Nice. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
crazy story,
So,
right?
yeah, couple things there. You were doing advertising. I think most of the leads that were coming through were from Google, but those are mostly detailing jobs. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly right.
So, because of the search volume, especially at that time, man, dude, I can't even imagine what the search volume for coatings was back then, let alone
So there was an average of like 100 searches per month
in Indiana.
in Indiana.
Okay. So the search volume in Indiana for ceramic coatings was extremely low. So you found the Facebook groups, you reached out to people directly saying, hey, cool car, do you want to get a ceramic coating from us? How many jobs did you get that way, Aaron?
Oh gosh, I think we got like maybe 2 jobs that way.
Jeez, okay. But
Yeah.
you took the content from those two photos, and then what did you do with that content from there?
Posted all over Facebook, social media, and just went from there. Like as many people as we could possibly seem to get from social media, we would.
Nice. So, okay. So, was this kind of what introduced you to advertising on Facebook and Instagram?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's what introduced us. And then a guy in New York at the time, we saw his post for 5 for 5s. That's when I met Sal.
Yes,
And
I remember that. Five
yeah,
for fives.
5 for 5s. And that's what really started our company and blew us up.
Wow. Okay.
Super easy to sell, super quick to do, tons of profits. And it
Five
really
year
shook up
coding.
the industry.
5 year coding for $500. I
New
remember
cars
that.
only, wash
Yep.
and decon, paint enhancement, isopropyl alcohol wipe down, and ceramic coat all the paint. You want the trim wheels and windows? It's an additional $500, $1,000 total. $600 for trucks, $500 for the additionals, $1,100 total. That was it.
Dude, I remember those. Those were, man,
That's
dude, you and I were
slamming.
slinging those like crazy.
I
It's
mean,
such a good offer, too.
we were doing like what, 30 a month maybe.
Man.
I mean, we were slinging it. I mean, 35 for 5s is only like what, 15.
Yeah. So if it, but okay, so that first month were you guys still doing detailing at this point, or did you cut that off completely at that point?
No, still doing detailing.
Okay, so detailing mix in with the 5 for 5s. Okay.
No. I think at this point we were still doing a little bit of detailing ads, but then we stopped the detailing ads. We were only organic growth of detailing from then on.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
those
that's crazy.
detailing
Five
ads.
for fives. Yeah, and
Man, what a time, man. I don't even like, yeah, that's so funny. That is so funny that we met right when you first got into coatings or shortly after. It was shortly after because I think you had already been advertising the 5 for 5s. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That is
yeah, we
awesome.
did boosted posts before they got crazy,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Apple like takes money from them or something now. But
yeah.
yeah, we were doing 5 for 500 Facebook boosted posts. That was a great offer. So basically, like the approach we took, which is pretty crazy approach, we basically got as much volume as possible for a little price. And then once we had lot of reviews and a good name for ourselves and a good brand and good finances, we then switched the entire model and we did extremely high end, extremely high price, low volume. And that was pretty crazy. We basically took it from
Yeah.
5 for 500s up to we were selling them for 2,000, and now we're up to 3,000. Now what we
Crazy
do,
transition, by the way. Just doing that, going super low price to high. I remember that. Real quick though, Aaron, before we dive into what that process looks like. So, if you were to start over today, would you take that same approach, or would you do anything different as
I would
you
take the
begin
same
pushing
approach.
coatings?
Absolutely,
Nice.
I would
Yeah,
take the
I
same
always recommend
approach.
that approach also. That way, I mean, like, okay, I see this all the time. I talk with detailers who just started offering coatings. They have some Google reviews, but if you look at them, most of them are for detailings, and they're starting off their prices at like $2,000, $3,000, right? They're overpricing themselves. Whenever they give quotes, they don't have any like work behind that. They don't have the reviews to back it up. Not saying that anybody cannot get those, but it just makes it an uphill battle. I do like starting very low or very as inexpensive as possible. One advice that I always give to people is just start with your entry level coating package, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year. Do a paint enhancement. Boom, that's your
I
entry
agree.
level offer. Advertise that like crazy. The lower price will definitely help shorten up the purchasing window. From there, just book out your calendar as much as you can and then transition to high ticket.
What you want to do is you want to what you want to do is you want to build as much credibility as humanly possible. That is the entire goal. Because here's the thing. If you are trying to sell this new watch brand and it's called watchesforyou.com and you are trying to sell them for $10,000 a watch, okay? I want you to go into the market right now. I want you to go online and go try and sell these watches. It's just not going to work. But go to sell a Rolex. Rolex has a good name for themselves. You sell it for $10,000, it'll sell tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
If you don't have a name for yourself and there's no trust, there's no brand identity, no credibility at all. I mean, not even like you can't even get like 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 referrals. There is no way that you'll be able to grow just rapidly if there's no branding or anything. The thing that's good is that when you're charging 2,500 but you have 200 5-star reviews and all the other coating shops around here have 50, you did 200 cars in 1 year. So in 1 year you could have 200 5-star reviews because you're just doing 5 for 5s. You're charging every client $500, you're slapping a coating on a new car. You're not doing any paint correction. You don't need any employees. You could make probably like $300,000 to $500,000 in the first year just doing 5 for 5, just slinging them on. Very easy work. Have a prepper, wash and prep the car, light enhancement, use ceramic coat. You're done. Such a good business model, but it's not sustainable when you start to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. If you want to be the best of the best in terms of quality, because people want higher end jobs. But basically, what we've tried to do is we've tried to not only become the highest priced, but also the highest quality and the highest volume. And that's been the most difficult approach, but it's so rewarding. When you're making 3 grand on a coating, you do extremely high quality. You could put it up against any $10,000 coating, any $500 coating, and it's going to be the best. We clean. You could take your fingers, lick the rims. I don't care. That's how clean the car is. The clients are ecstatic, but you're also doing 60 of those a month. It's like that's really difficult to do, but it's so rewarding when you can actually do it. A lot of people either do high volume, low price, or low price and I mean high price and low volume.
Yeah.
It's one or the other, like the inverse, but we're going for all of it, baby. So yeah, you can't do that. You can't switch anything around. You can't increase your price if you don't have that brand credibility. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's so important that people know who you are or recognize you, or at least from the outside the facade is that you're a big shop or that you're a
Yeah.
trustworthy or quality shop.
Yeah, and one other part there is it really helps get your name out there. If you're talking to more people, servicing more vehicles, like you're just taking up a lot more of the market share, the mind share, just getting your name out there, seeming like the busy shop, just doing vehicles like, dude, man, that'll make the biggest difference for your business. Because that's really what it comes down to. Like when somebody thinks of a ceramic coating in your area, you want them to think of attention to detail, luxury detailing and coatings, you know? And a lot of
Oh
that
yeah.
is through that volume, through that initial stage of just building up that momentum. And Aaron, just building that momentum is super key as well. Because if you're only doing
Getting
one coating a year,
the
yes,
sales confidence to sell 105 for fives is like you could sell 5 packages for $5,000, but there's just no confidence. You keep getting knocked down. You keep getting no's. You keep getting no's. Keep getting no's. Keep getting no's. What happens if you had 100 yeses?
yeah,
It just builds so much confidence in business, and the volume allows you to grow faster because more money and more cash flow, more everything with volume. Such a good
yeah,
start to a company.
yeah.
Speaking of like brand recognition, I actually had a guy, you might have saw my Facebook post. So this guy texted, he called our shop and he spoke to one of our service advisors, and he was like, hey, I'm thinking about changing the color of my car. I want a full body PPF, like colored PPF, matte black or something like that. Our service advisor was talking with him, going over the different options, blah 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 blah, and he's like, okay, great, so you could stop by for a consultation on Saturday and we can kind of go over all the different options. That works perfect, so I'll see you Saturday. Then I get an email from one of my previous clients. We did his Audi car full front PPF, or maybe a track package. I think it was a full front. And he said, hey, my cousin's husband just bought a brand new Mercedes. Give him a call. His name is so-and-so. Sent me his number.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's 10 p.m. at night, 10, 11, whatever. I get the email. So I send him a quick text, and my service advisor texts me at 10:15. I've got the Mercedes. Don't worry. I'm like, no, I already texted him. Sorry. So I start texting him. I show him pictures of the shop. I ask him what he wants done. He's like, I want a clear PPF, maybe a color. I'm just deciding, it's brand new, 2025, blah, 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 blah. Then he goes, wait, is this the shop I talked to earlier? And I'm like, it is. You have a consultation with us already. He was like, is that not crazy or what? I just called you guys earlier, and then my brother-in-law referred me to you.
Oh,
And it's like,
nice.
everything comes full circle. Everybody refers attention to detail. Everybody sees attention to detail in line. We're everywhere. You want to be everywhere. I just signed a contract that every single time you are at the grocery store in the area and you move the little checkout thing to
Yes.
to move
I
your
love.
groceries to separate them, attention to detail is going to be on those in the grocery stores. You can't get away from us now. And every time, it's marketing and branding and digital advertising and billboards is all stuff you can see and you can look at and you can watch and you can hear. You're now going to be able to touch attention to detail by holding me in your hand, moving me to separate your food for the next person's food in the checkout line. Like, those are the things we're talking about. You're not going to be able to escape us. And I thought that was so crazy that this client had referred us
Yeah.
to this guy, but he had already called us. And he's like, wait, I found these guys online. I'm going to see them on Saturday for a consultation. And my brother-in-law is referring them. Like, it's all like
What are
meant
the
to be. And
odds?
he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, okay, well, I'm choosing you no matter what. It's now just a matter of what package. It's literally
Yeah.
it. And he was like
Yeah.
on the phone. He's like, I've got $9,000 to spend. Okay, done. Cool. Works for me.
Well, and you only get that, Aaron, through having that reputation, name
Of course.
recognition. Like, dude, that makes such a big difference compared to Aaron. Let's just compare that to a shop that has done no advertising. They think it's a waste of money. They're not getting the logo out there. It's like
That's
they
fine.
weren't even
If
considered.
that's where they want to be. That's fine if that's where they want to
Yes,
be.
that is fine. That is fine. If
If you
you
want
want
to
to,
grow, not fine.
not fine. No, but seriously, if once you get the name out there, that's that does like the speaking for you, right? If you have a customer coming to you, Aaron, they know your work, they've seen your reviews. Everybody who's got their car coded brings up your company name, like they're sold. Like those people, they were both sold. Like you probably could have, like, price tag was not even a factor there, and that's the kind of customers you want to get. People who
Exactly.
trust you, they know your quality of work, they just want to do business with you. Price is just right there in the middle.
That's exactly right. Like, these clients come in, they're like, I'm ready to go. I had a client today. He walked in. He's like, here's $2,500. I want this package. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, great.
Yeah,
And you don't get that from just putting radio ads on every 6 months and sitting back in your office and expecting to just the work to come. Well, then the phone rings. We're mainly referral based. Okay, that's great, but you're doing $300 detail packages in your referral base. Let's step up your game here, right? Just throw some money towards advertising. You spend more money, you lose out on more money sitting down there not having work in your shop than you do if you were to put some money towards the ads. I mean, come
Yeah,
on,
you,
like
you
let's
got to
just
stay
roll.
busy. And that's how you get that momentum going that really will change your business. And it can happen very quickly. Like, okay, if you don't know how to run your own ads and it's your first time, probably not going to work out just because things change very quickly. You don't know really what you're doing at that point. But that's still better than nothing. That's still better. You're still getting the logo out there. You're still getting your work out there.
Yeah, you're still getting something. I mean, even with
Exactly.
me doing Google ads, I didn't know what I was doing, but I did something. You don't
Yes.
have the best ads, you don't have the best creatives, you don't have the best logos or the best imagery, you don't have the best ad copy, you don't have the best creatives, you don't have the best landing pages, you don't have the best anything. That's okay though.
Just
You
start.
just you did something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
There
as
are
a
so many
beginner,
nuggets in this video. I feel like a beginner could watch this video like 5 times and
yeah.
literally grow their company from 0 to $1 million.
Yeah, and again, like I said in the beginning, the main thing is just do it. Like just put the ad out there, to record the video, you know. But yeah, I do like that approach of starting with a very like basically it's not cheap, but it's a no-brainer offer. If somebody has shopped around for quotes, they come to you like, okay, you're more the least expensive, but it's a really good deal in exchange. Like that could be the offer that really helps you get that market share, get your logo out there, get your quality of work out there, build up those reviews. And that's how it snowballs. Like you look at some of these shops, Aaron, like when somebody looks at this or watches this video, like he went from, you know, high schooler to two shops. How? That's exactly how. You just build the momentum and you keep it rocking and rolling.
I literally just explained my entire process in this video. Like, if you don't watch this entire video like 5 times and take notes on it, I mean, this is literally how I did it. I gave you like 17 pointers just on everything that I've never shared before. Like,
Yeah.
this is just crazy. I mean, you're going to make so much money just from watching this video. I mean, we should sell this video.
We should sell this video $1, or if you're watching this on YouTube, unsubscribe. That's all we ask for.
Let's
Just one
go!
subscribe.
Subscribe to
Just
Detailed
one
Growth on
subscribe.
YouTube. And like, please like, please like.
Like, comment, share. We're not done yet, though. Okay, so Aaron, you got into coatings. Earlier, you mentioned that you went from that high volume, low ticket price to the opposite low volume, high ticket. Tell me a little bit about that transition. What was that like?
Transition was really scary until we just did it. And we did it, and we started selling packages for 2,000. People weren't saying no. We were like, okay, that's really crazy. How come we were charging 500 and then 2,000? We just kept doing it. We were charging 2,200, 2,500, 20. No one was saying no. We were just really crazy. And then we realized the light bulb turned on full blast, all the wattage, baby. It's a
Yes.
different market.
Yeah,
You're hitting
different
a
customer base.
customer base. We weren't talking to the people that wanted to spend $500 on their car. We were talking to the car guys wanting to spend 2,000 to 3,000.
Yeah.
Completely separate ballgame. And then we can go from 2,000, 3,000 up to 5,000 to 8,000 for a ceramic coating. And guess what? There's still going to be people there.
They're still saying yes.
They're still saying
And
yes.
the cool thing about the low ticket, high volume, where you're building up that muscle memory when it comes to sales, like even if you don't know what you're doing, Aaron, I'm assuming at that point you hadn't read any sales books, you hadn't watched, you know, you didn't
Very
really know
minimal,
anything
yeah.
about sales. But even just doing that alone, just getting those rejections, seeing why people are saying no, why they're saying yes, okay, that gives you a good baseline for sales. Now you have those repetitions under your belt to where when you go to high ticket, Aaron, I mean, tell me about like what was that first yes for $2,000? What did that feel like?
Oh, that was just a rush of adrenaline, dopamine, whatever you want to call it. It was like music to my ears. I mean, when they said yes and I took the deposit, I got off the phone, click. I'm like screaming, I'm ringing bells. I'm just running around the shop lap. I mean, I have videos of like just running around the shop. Let's go! I just sold our knob. I just sold like running around the shop. Like it crazy. Like the best feeling in the entire world by far.
Awesome, man. So at that point, did you think that you could sell a ceramic coating for $2,000, or was it like, you know, maybe, you know, what was your belief at that point? Were you like, okay, yes, I think this could be done, or
When
like,
you
you know, maybe what was that like?
Yeah. Great question, Sal. So when you first start off, it's kind of like, well, maybe that was like a fluke, or maybe that was just like a one-off, and you get a lot of rejections because you're like, oh, that person said yes. That maybe it was just like, you have like, what is it, 5 or 10% of every client that calls in, they're always going to say yes. I don't know what
Yep.
the percentage is, but
Yeah, I think it's
like,
10% will always say yes, 10% will always say no, no matter what. 80% on the fence could go either way.
yeah. So that 10% of always saying yes, like you feel like that was part of the 10%. And then you get like 10 no's and you're discouraged and you're like, I want to quit. I don't like this anymore. I don't like sales. I'm going back to a 9 to 5, or like you're done. And then
Yeah.
you get another sale, and then you get another 10, and then you get another sale, and then you're like, you get another sale, and then there's like 8. And then you get another sale. And then it constantly drops to now like my in-person close rate is 90% and higher. Like if you sit on our $1 million couch, like you're putting a deposit down. There's
Yeah.
like
No, even
not
Aaron, even when I went there last year and I sat down on the couch, I think I gave you a deposit. I was like, dude, I don't even know
ha!
why I'm doing this. Here's a deposit just for sitting on the couch.
I'll close my mom and my dad on that couch. Like it doesn't matter.
He
You
will.
you
He
have to
will.
have the
He
mindset
will.
of not saying no. Both my
Yeah.
parents have their cars coded actually.
Okay, so Aaron, you brought up a good point there about just dealing with rejection. And I think when you're that young, you're very naive to it, but it could also be very discouraging when you're first getting into selling ceramic coatings. Now, when you start detailing, it's not reality because a lot of those, your initial customers with detailing, like you mentioned, Aaron, are a lot of times coworkers, friends, family members, right? People who know you, who know Aaron personally. But then once you go outside of that, how do you deal with that rejection of, I'm talking with a stranger, they don't know me, they saw my ad, I'm giving them a price, they keep saying no. Was that
You
discouraging to you, Aaron, or was that something that, you were just like, okay, it's gonna happen?
Yes, the way that I combat it my own self is if I'm getting a lot of no's, I will just do whatever it takes to make a sale.
Nice.
So if the price is 3 grand and they need to sell it for 2,000, I will. And a lot of people have too big of an ego or too big of a head
Oh
to want to
man,
do that. Well, my quality of work is fantastic. It's worth 3 grand. I don't care
I'm
if nobody buys
certified,
from
I'm
me. I'm
insured, I have all
I've
these,
got all of these certifications. I went to school for this stuff. I'm selling it at 3,000, and if you don't want to pay it, you can go somewhere else.
yeah, they
It's like,
post on
no,
the
maybe
Facebook
that
groups.
yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm built different, I guess. I want to sell it for 2 grand.
Yeah,
Sell
that's
it for
I love that
1,800,
line of thinking
1,700. Like,
because it okay, like at a macro level, it's just basic economics. Supply, demand. Here's this price. Will you take it? No. Okay. Here's this price. Will you take it? No. Here's this price. Yes. Okay, good. And then you do that for the next person. They say yes. Okay, I'm getting more appointments, selling more
right. You
jobs.
don't have to sell every job at $1,500 if your price is 3 grand. Sell them at 3 grand. But if one guy comes in and wants to spend 2,700 cash, you're probably not going to
Hey,
say no.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
why would you say no? That's $300. Profit margins are just so like good if you build it everything outright that you can take off 500 or $1,000. Maybe you break even. That's okay. That gets my momentum going for the next sale.
Yes. Aaron, what would you say to somebody who will not discount the services whatsoever?
I'd say good luck because I'm going to take all their clients. Ha!
I
That's what I
love
would
it.
say.
I love it. Yeah, no, seriously. Like, okay, think about it.
I had a
You kind
guy.
of
I
just
had a
brought this
guy
up.
like I had a guy 2 cities over. He wouldn't discount it. I took the client out. Okay.
Man, yeah. So, I mean, think about it. You have somebody, in your case, Aaron, somebody who's willing to spend, it's not $2,000, but they're willing to spend $1,700. You're gonna kill that entire. You're gonna give up $1,700, so you don't just to not give them a $300 discount.
Right. If your package starts at 2,000, that's like what 15%.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So,
They're
yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to your
okay.
point, Aaron, about
What the
the ego.
yeah yeah. You think it is ego, right?
It is definitely ego. Again, not that there's anything wrong with it, right?
Nothing wrong with it.
If you're okay with that, but like a lot of Aaron, how many deals have you closed where just being flexible with price, with certain things, sealed the deal to where you were able to actually capture that revenue versus turning them away?
Oh my gosh, probably 40% of our deals.
It's insane. Yeah. So, I mean, that
Yeah,
just goes to
over a
show that
million
like
dollars this year for sure.
people are willing to be, if you're willing to be flexible, that makes a big difference no matter what you're selling. PPF, tints, coatings. Okay. So, Aaron, you start selling high ticket ceramic coatings. A little rocky at first. When did you crack the code on being able to reliably sell higher ticket ceramic coatings?
When I had my marketing set up and my marketing agency set up properly to completely run the show for me.
Okay.
110% my answer.
So at that point, you went from I'm running these ads, I'm putting them out to I need to hire somebody. What was your thinking behind that?
I can make way more money by not having to do the ads myself. Pay somebody what I would, you're always going to pay somebody else, if your time is valuable, somebody else, you're always going to pay them less than what it's going to
Yeah.
cost you to do it yourself. I'd rather go and sell a 2,000-hour job than sit there and,
Man,
try and
deal with
run
Facebook,
marketing.
Google,
Yeah.
get a web
Like, rather just pay somebody because I could sell 2,000 hours and I'm only paying the company to run the ads 1,500, right?
easy, easy.
Or
Yeah.
maybe I could sell 4,000 and I'm paying the company to run ads 2,500. You're still making more money than if you were to have to do them yourself. Plus all the headache, no time with your family, no time with your dogs, your cats, your pets, like whatever. There's just so many benefits to outsource a lot of stuff. And it takes time. There's a little trial and error with outsourcing and third party, but delegating is I think the biggest maker of success in any business. I'm still trying to master that one myself, but I think
Same
delegation
here.
is the
Same here.
master.
So, Aaron, talk to me about when you realized you had to go from running your own ads to hiring it out, and then walk me through the first couple agencies that you worked with and like what that experience was like. Because as a beginner, if I'm just getting into detailing, I see, I post on the Facebook groups and I'm like, hey, who should I go with? What should I do to get more customers? Right. Some of the most obvious answers will be advertising. Then from there,
You're like,
in
who?
your experience,
Yeah.
yeah, what was your experience with the first couple agencies you worked with, Aaron?
Not as good as you. That's for sure.
But from like a
Well,
just diving into it.
a lot of people don't know how to track data and look at data and how to track things properly and how to actually measure the success of a marketing agency. And a lot of marketing agencies don't know how to manage their own data. They don't know how to view their own data and look at their own data. And that's kind of what we noticed and what we realized was, hey, you have, 60 leads coming in, but only 6 of them answered the phone. Even on a 100% close rate, I'm not making a ton of money, but they don't see that. They just see, well, I brought you 60 leads. So those
Yeah.
were the types of conversations we have is like, well, I want quality leads. I don't care if you give me, if you give me 10 quality leads and 9 answer the phone, I'd rather that than 60 leads and 6 answer the phone. Right. So that's the big thing. That's kind of where we was just a bunch of trial and error with marketing companies. They just weren't performing to the level that we needed them to perform at. And we have like extremely lofty goals of growth. So we need companies that are going to help us with the growth from start to finish, from zero to hero. I mean, we need these companies to be with us the entire time to help us grow. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, well, I'm paying them, they're supposed to be doing their job, but you need to make sure they're doing their job.
Yeah, that is super key there. And one thing to mention there, as far as working with third parties, just in general, is you want to make sure, Aaron, like you said, that they're on the same page, but also that they can troubleshoot. Because if a brand new agency starting, they have some sort of success with previous clients, but those could be one offs. Those could be their few success stories that they're just boasting about.
That's
But
very
a lot
true.
of the times, it really does come down to just the nitty gritty of troubleshooting, lead flow issue, lead quality issue, the targeting. And I think that's really where working with the right agency could definitely be that game changer. You have the right agency when what, Aaron? How would somebody know that they're working with the right agency?
Yeah. When you're working with the right agency, when the quality of the leads is there, you're happy with the sales, you're happy with the percent of revenue the marketing costs. When you see the data and you look at the numbers and you go, okay, this makes sense, this makes sense, this makes sense. And those are all based off of initial goals. So that is the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Just making sure you're aligned with goals and that. And I think what a lot of detailers are looking for as well is progress towards that goal. It doesn't need to happen overnight, but we just
Exactly.
need to be
It just
working
doesn't.
in that direction just generally. Okay, so Aaron, you went from running your own ads, hiring an agency, and then walk me through what it was like consistently selling high ticket to where you're like, oh man, I got this. It's not a worry. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can continue selling at this price. And then what was the next step after that, after you were able to reliably sell high ticket coatings?
When we were like reliably selling these high ticket coatings, we knew we needed to A, up production, and B, we needed to go in and we need to hire a service advisor. And that's really kind of to the point where we're at right now is we hired the service advisor. We're working on more production. Our
What
sales
is
have
a service
completely outgrown
advisor?
our service advisor is what we call a sales rep. I don't call them sales reps because when you come to my company, I don't want you to feel like you're being sold. So I call them a service advisor, service manager, because we're here to serve you.
Nice. Okay. So at that point, you went from doing all the sales to delegating that.
Correct.
Before we talk about that specific thing, Aaron, tell me about what are like, give me like five key things about sales in not in any specific order, but five key things that somebody should know about selling ceramic coatings.
Gosh, five key things. You should know your company's biggest reasons why they should choose you. That's number one. Okay, why should they choose you? What are your biggest benefits? You doing a ceramic coating versus a competitor. You should know the process from start to finish, like the back of your hand. That will close a deal any day, making people feel comfortable with that.
Nice. Yep.
What else do people need to know when selling a ceramic coating? You need to know how to handle an objection and how to proactively take care of objections from the get go. You need to learn how to uh, listen to someone say no and then keep having them say no until they say yes. You need to make sure that you know how to take a deposit and how to actually lock a client down as opposed to just willy nilly getting them on your calendar and then they never show up.
Boom. That's five. That's five, by the way. That's five.
I could keep going. Yeah.
So, Aaron, let's talk about the objections. Because what I see a lot out there in a lot of detailer sales process is somebody calls them up, they answer the phone, they introduce themselves. Hey, I want to quote for my 2023 Honda Accord. The detailer gives them the price, and that's where the conversation ends. Aaron, real quick, how would you go about those phone calls?
Yeah, I would see exactly what they're looking for. So I don't know if we can even help you just yet, but let's see what we can come up with, right? And see if they're even going to be a good fit for you. That's the biggest thing. See if they're actually going to be a good fit and see what you can help them with before you even start blaring out pricing, right? That's one of the more important things, in my opinion, is how can we make sure that they're, as a client, are actually here to work with us or work together. Are they even a good fit? And that's really what it boils down to before you have to do anything else in sales is making sure that they want to not only pay for it, but also, there's somebody that actually wants it done. And that's like first before you start blaring out pricing.
So that's a big change to what I just mentioned earlier. Why do you not just give them the price right off the bat?
Yeah, you don't want to give them a price because there's no value. You don't build any value when you just blare out the price. So by giving them at least some sort of value before you give them the price, it allows them to make a more educated decision on whether they want to choose you and your company or not.
Yes. And another like synonym for value would just be context. You're telling
Yeah,
them exactly what they're buying.
without a doubt. Because they're buying a service. They're not buying a tangible product like a Louis
Right.
Vuitton bag. They're buying a service that they cannot really see. So they can see the outcome of it, but they can't really like hold it and stuff. So that's why it's very
Yeah.
important to build that value. They're almost paying. I mean, they're paying for a want and not a need. So the value definitely needs to be there without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And edit this out. My dinner is in 6 minutes and it's 25 minutes away. So if we can wrap
Fuck.
something else.
Fuck. Okay. Okay. We'll wrap up. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna be completely
No,
late,
dude.
but I don't want to.
I completely forgot about that. My bad. Okay. So, Aaron, you've walked us through what it's like going from a mobile detailer, just doing details, how to get the word out there, to mobile coatings, how to sell low ticket, get the name out there, get your quality work out there, and then going from high ticket. Aaron, what is the next step that you're aspiring for with your detailing business? You have two shop locations, you have over 20 employees, steady flow of customers coming in. Like, I mean, this you are in like that dream position. Hey, Donovan, good to see you, man. Aaron, you are in that dream position. What would you tell to somebody who's looking to get there today?
Yeah, don't ever let your foot get off the gas, and
Just keep
that's
going.
all. Just keep going. Just ram into it. Every goal, just crush. You cannot keep making excuses. And I listen to excuses all the time, all day, every day, and I have a lot of them myself. But just keep going. Just don't stop. Just pedal to the metal. Gas needs to hit the floor.
Yes.
If you have an electric car, then the accelerator pedal needs to hit the floor. Just whatever it physically takes to get there, you just can't stop. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think their market's too small. They think there's a lot of excuses. Just
Yeah.
do what you need to do, and you need to have realistic goals, and you need to crush those goals. And yeah,
Yes, I
and text me
agree.
if you need me.
Yes, Aaron, thank you so much for your time. I know you're running late. I really do appreciate it. Hope everybody found this episode extremely insightful. If you have any questions, comment them below. Aaron will reply if he can. If not, I'll reply to the best of my ability. But no, in all seriousness, guys, thank you for watching, Aaron. Thank you for sharing your journey. A lot that I found out before I came on board that I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, man, I think this is a good one. Let's do this again. Let's do this again.
For sure.
Maybe not next week, but the week after,
And then again in 5 years. Ha!
and again in 5 years. All right, Aaron, enjoy your dinner.
Thank you
Spilled a lot
guys
of it.
so
I'm
much for
sorry.
having me. Thanks for listening to this episode. And please subscribe and like the video. If you have any
Yes,
questions, just put them in the comments. Thank you so much,
yes.
everybody.
All
Thanks,
right,
Sal, for
Aaron. I'll
having
see you
me.
later.
All
Peace.
right. Bye.